Hello and welcome back to another video. This would probably be the first update in my LEGO City for a long time. I may or may not have done one before, I can't really remember. Back when I was a lot younger, I used to have a city, one that I was, dealing with. But when I moved, there was less and less space for it to sort of expand, and then eventually it all just ended up back in boxes. Once I got into my sort of early years, later years, sorry. Basically, I started collecting again, and I've collected quite a few bits and bobs. A lot of it is not necessarily new stuff, aside from obviously, as you can see in the foreground, the bookshop and the house that goes with that. I'm trying to lean towards more custom builds as well, to sort of set myself, differently from other cities, as a lot of other cities have the same buildings, not necessarily the same layout, but definitely the same buildings, especially modular buildings, considering they're very popular. I apologise for the state of the city. I'm still going through the process of sort of putting it all back together, while also incorporating new sets such as this police lorry here. I have got an older police lorry, which is over here, and that's the sort of older style one, along with the sort of gatehouse, and that sits next to the police station there. I've got a few buildings, but anyway, yeah, I think I'll start off with probably something that isn't necessarily too great, but let me just move this out of the way. So this is my sort of British style station. It's not great. Internally there's not really much to look at. There's a little ticket booth there with a man getting involved. There's also a side door. I like consistency in my buildings. If there's a bit in the building that you can't feasibly get to, then I don't like that, because it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest building. It's still not finished, really. I want to put some more trim on it. Have some of them have some drop down bits that come down here. Although I like the station, I'm still plating it up. So yeah, a lot of this Lego is old, older. When I was young, so some bits are even a little bit chewed. I will be replacing them, but it's just a sort of a gate hold to make sure I actually know what I'm placing and what I'm putting. But yeah, so I'll see if I can get in here. There should be a little computer. I can't really see if I can take the roof without destroying it. No, I'll take that bit off instead. So yeah, in there's just a little bloke and a computer and a coffee cup that seems to have fallen over. And there's a little cloakroom back there. But yeah, so that's the station. Hopefully I'll be sort of getting that sort of properly installed, if it were. I sort of, with the pegs that you get from the with like the train tracks, I've actually created some form of fencing. I want to sort of continue this fencing, because I think it looks quite nice, but I want to find a more pleasant way of making sure the blocks stay, because at the moment I've got these black bits that are sort of holding the two blocks apart just enough so that the fence panels don't come out. So hopefully that will be rectified soon. I'll just find what I can. So here are two less permanent fixtures. I've got ice cream truck. This is the car park of the station. It's currently littered with dead bodies by the looks of it. And this is obviously the burger joint that came with a fire set. I sort of want to keep that there, but I'm trying to figure out a way to permanently install it, whereas this I want to move, because otherwise it just looks like it's a park area, which isn't true. But basically, this is the car park area. I was going to fill this more out. One of the best things I think about this city so far is actually I've got working lights for a few places, courtesy of a colleague of work of mine. I've also got one sort of here as well, but I want more to sort of light the city up a bit. But at the moment, that's just fed through this USB thing. I'll make it look better, but at the moment, that's not really great. So across the street, we've got the old pizzeria. It fits where it does. I've got it all going along. So I've got the bike shop, the pizzeria, and then obviously the bus stop. With the bus that came with it. It's quite a big set. I don't remember how much it was back then. but it was quite a bit. And then next to that is a temporary building that I've turned into an office building with parts that I have. I'll probably be making a more permanent fixture. As you can see, I'm working on the path there. Apologies for anything you can see at the back. This is actually in my summer house, which is a utility summer house. So as it currently stands, there's a bits of dust and a few dead insects everywhere. But I'm cleaning up as best I can, as grim as that sounds. But over here is basically my junkyard at the moment, of pieces and bits and pieces that I'm sort of coming across and trying to sort out. This is actually a new set. I'm working on getting a Mars or interplanetary sort of mock going, which would be quite cool. I really like space, and I sort of like the Lego space sets. This is the... I might do a review on it actually, because it's quite a nice set. It's sort of got a little drone in there, and it's quite nice. And it came with this sort of Mars rover sort of thing, which with a really cool claw design, which is really cool. And I just like the fact that it's got a little solar panel there, and it's a little helicopter drone, which I think is based off one of the new Mars programs that they've sort of started off, which will introduce a sort of mini drone helicopter to the Martian surface, and it will sort of fly around to test the sort of how that would work, with the air pressure and the difference in gravity, which is quite cool. So hopefully I'll be getting something done. They seem to be having a little story going on with these, because there's like a sort of ancient Mars jewels and this map here, which would be really cool to see if they expand that. There's quite a few more sets in this sort of Mars exploration or lunar or whatever it is, so I'll be really excited to get some more of that and hopefully build a mock. I want to sort of incorporate some of the older Lego space. As you can see, I've got five of the old style Lego spacemen. One is missing a jetpack. I've got two. I've got a yellow and a white one spare, and another white one. But it'd be really cool to sort that out. And I'd also like to do some more with the Planetary Defence Force units, but we'll soon find out whether we'll be bothering with any of that. But you never know, we might. So moving on, we've obviously got more junk, which will be cleared eventually. There's a few minifigures in there. This, I think, is when Lego did metal sets. I don't really know what to do with it. So put in the comments if I should sort of sell it on or try and find the original set. It'd be quite cool just to have as a display piece. But this just was in the bag of Lego I bought. So either it's nothing to do with Lego, or it's from when they did die-cast sets, which would be really interesting to find out if that's true. It'd be quite nice to find out. There's no markings on it to indicate that it's Lego, but yeah. So hopefully that'd be an interesting thing. It doesn't actually fit on any Lego, so we've got a few minifigures. I've got a couple of the Olympic minifigures. We do actually have, which is something that I am working on. I know it's not necessarily good, but I've got some military personnel with British rifles, actually, which is quite cool. I will be doing something with them. I think I have a small little barracks. I have a few other military things that I've built myself. Whether or not I'll be doing anything with them sort of out of the way, I'm not quite sure. So obviously we've got this new police truck with a jail in. There's a little criminal in there. God knows what she's done, but she's done something. I can't even get it open. Yeah, and that came with this little guy here with the monies and the chain. It's quite cool. So over the road from that, we've got the very, very old style, definitely old style, Lego garage. I have the Octane lorry. I got that a few years back. I must have been 11 when I got that truck. And this is the older style Octane gas station. So we've got the original car. The only thing that this was missing were the sticker pieces for the signs, which is why it was cheaper than usual. These can go for anywhere to be between £70 and £120. The reason I like this is it's very European, especially with the sort of the windows out like this. I really want to get some lighting underneath here to make the forecourt look like bright in the night, sort of like maybe warm white. I'm not quite sure. I might go with a tungsten look. of old fluorescent lights. But I really like this set. It's probably one of my favourite pieces, which is why I've made it the centrepiece of the town. The road plates don't really match up because obviously it's the older style road plates. So I'll see what, you know, I can do there. But with the new style Lego road plates, I might end up putting this off the road slightly, so having a sort of offshoot, which would be quite nice, and then free this up for something a little bit more, or maybe increase the road. I'm not quite sure, but I'll figure it out. And this is all work in progress. It's just where it is at the moment. So here we go, even more junk. Over here we did have a building site, but that's sort of been moved over. That's basically to indicate that you can't go any further. Sort of a cheap way of stopping minifigs and cars from going out that way towards a white wall. And then across from there we've got a what will hopefully be a form of old style European hospital that used to be some sort of manor house sort of thing, or at least this will be the administration building. Eventually I'll be expanding that and raising it a floor, and next to that is a more temporary apartment building, which I don't really like the look of. It's not a great building. It used to be taller and thinner, but it just didn't look right. So if we move on to one of my main pieces here. So this is actually the bookshop and house, sort of terrace house, which is really cool. It's one of my favourite sets, along with that garage. So eventually I want to incorporate more modulars, hopefully getting that police station, which will look at home right next to that building there. So this is great. I love this set. I'll probably do a review on this set, although it's been done to death. So if you want an opinion, go and buy this set. It will probably be retired next year, I reckon, or maybe a few, not next year, but maybe the year after. It'll be retired, I think. I mean, it's not a very exciting set compared to sort of the other sets you can get, and with the more modulars that are coming along, hopefully in 2021, we'll soon see whether this ends up being a mainstay. But you know, it's a really nice set. I love the design of the terrace house, and the bookshop has a really nice design. It's very French style, I feel. French, maybe like American brownstone. I'm not quite sure. I don't really see those buildings a lot. So let me know in the comments sort of what you think this is the style, what style this is. I definitely think it looks very European, but that's just my opinion. So there's my Lego Santa Fe, the only other train on my track. I did a video about that. And here we go. So behind this, sorry for the lighting, we've had a couple of lights out, so I'm sort of working on getting lighting in. At the moment we've got a sort of mini mock going on here. We've got a bin lorry and collecting the bins from the park, and there's a lady there, she's collecting the smaller bin to dump in there. I will be sort of working out the fencing. That's the sort of fencing I want to go for. But at the moment I've got a little pizza van. I really like this sort of thing. He's got a couple of people having a bit of pizza. And then we've got some of these sort of benches. Man walking his dog and, you know, just chatting to someone on the bench. It's a nice little park piece. This was the Paradisa, I think it's Paradisa. It was essentially a base plate for like sort of Paradisa style Lego sets they used to do back in, I think it was the 80s, maybe early 90s. I'm not quite sure. I'm still working on the Lego lore, I suppose. But yeah, I really like this park. The pizza truck will probably stay there, although I'll have to work around the fencing that I eventually put in. Sort of like the few little plant bits that here and there and all that sort of stuff. Make it look quite nice. And that's obviously the back. So that sort of backs on. It's going to turn this into a bit of an alleyway, so put a fence and a gate maybe there. Just to make it look quite nice. And then obviously block this off because this is a residential sort of garden plot area, so have the fence along here so that you can see into it, but obviously this will be a little private garden for the residents of this house. So over here we've got the fire truck that came with the sort of thing, the burger joint. So that sort of shoots out. It's a bit of it's a child's sort of play thing, isn't it? It's more to introduce that sort of element of play, which I really quite like. But obviously it has no practical use in a sort of in a cityscape like that. And behind it is a prison transport. This is just again a mess. I really apologise, but at the moment I have no fire station quite yet. I have a heliport for the fire, like sort of lorry, not lorry, helicopter, but that's currently under construction and will be moved and worked about. So as I said, I've got the sort of the Lego police station here. So I can't remember what set this is, but that's the current police station, which will eventually be merged, hopefully, with the modular. So I'll have that station next to the modular. So I'll probably move it round to the back and then hide the rear with the train track. Hide the train track at the rear. But at the moment, the train track is going to be expanded. I've got this old Lego crane and more sort of sets, and then this is eventually going to become some sort of convenience store. And here is again another sort of graveyard of forgotten Lego. So that's Exoforce. I'm sort of diving back into my Exoforce. I broke a lot of it apart when I was younger for different pieces, as you can see. I mean, this is not at all what it used to be, but I'll work on that. And then one of the things I am working on now currently is a riverboat gunship with a working turret, which is quite cool. I know a lot of Lego fans don't really like military style things, but that's just not me. I really do like military things. I collect a lot of Airfix and other military stuff. Some of these blocks are just placeholder for the moment, but eventually this will be a fully fledged warship with a crew, and it'll be docked in the docks. Hopefully I want to expand out that way, but I've just got to get rid of all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I apologise again for the mess, as I'm sort of trying to expand. I'm getting back into Lego, which is something that a lot of people would say for a 21-year-old is not necessarily the greatest thing in the world. But I really hope to expand. I really hope to sort of make this my own city, you know, not just follow the same same sort of regiment as everyone else and have X, Y, and Z modular here and next to this one. I really want to make it my own. So once I've sorted out, you know, the train track and clearing out the city, hopefully I'll have a much better update video for you with much more progress. But anyway, thank you for watching and have a great evening.